Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to Life Matters with Anu Adidere. And today we have a special guest. I'm super excited because I believe I've been following him for a couple of years now. And his work is awesome. Like if you follow him, you will know that his work is awesome. I'll put the link to in the description to his website and also to his Instagram page so that you can follow, you can consult, and much more. So today, before I introduce my guest, if this is your first time, this is Life Matters with Anu Adidere. It's a podcast, and also we stream on YouTube where we share different life matters and different life issues. And yes, if this is your first time, please make sure that you turn on your notification bells and press that subscribe button so to get more content. And if you check the playlist, you would see so many content that we've had on marriage, money, traveling, different topics that we've spoken to different guests about. So today, this month, we're going to be talking all about real estate, and we have different real estate gurus that are going to be sharing from their wealth of experience. And the first on the list is Mr. Femi Aguda of Block 22 Realty. Yay! I have a famous bell. Are you? I have my famous bell. Welcome, sir, to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. I'm very fine, and it's a pleasure to be here on set.
Awesome. So I will start from the very beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, where you're based, and why is real estate really important to you?
So my name is Femi Aguda, and currently I'm a managing broker of Block 22 Realty and also the founder. I'm based in on the suburb of Chicago, Frankfurt, precisely. But so I basically do real estate in Chicagoland. And when I say Chicagoland, Chicago is a city, but all the suburbs are called Chicagoland. So yeah, there you have it.
Nice. So why real estate? It could have been anything else. Why real estate?
Why? I guess it stems from number one, passion, and number two, also my pain points growing up. And I kind of like look at the channel, the vehicles to wealth, and also look at what I love doing and the skill set that I have, and real estate seem to be it. And also because I can build wealth, I like helping people. I like building wealth, and the kind of lifestyle I want to that I have or that I want involves some good money, and I saw real estate as a vehicle to achieve that. So and one other thing is that I'm a Christian, and every time that God shows up to a man, He says, "I'll give you a land, real estate. I'll give you a land, real estate. I'm going to show you a land that flows with milk and honey, real estate." And also, if you think about it, everything is real estate. The roads you drive on is real estate. The airports is real estate. The hospitals, the schools, the houses. Real estate encompasses all. It's not just where you stay. It's factories are real estate. So yeah, and everybody will always need real estate.
That's true, and it's a natural resource that God has given that I think is one of the only things that actually always yield more profits compared to like cars and so many other innovations that we've seen in the world right now. Maybe apart from a Tesla that doesn't really reduce the price, but real estate is one thing that you can never go wrong with. So why do you think that so right now we see a lot of millennials go into the real estate business and they're more eager to. I remember growing up, the almost major thing most people wanted you to have is just go to school, get married, build your house. That was like that was like the streamlined thing that most people wanted everyone to do bulk of the time. And I noticed that a lot of our parents always pushed for it. Why is it important to have your own home? And you see today now a lot of young people are seeing that more a source of investment than seeing it as, oh, okay, let me just get married, I'll go to school and build my house. They're seeing it more as an investment. What do you think created that shift in generations?
Well, I think it's old thinking versus new thinking, and also industrial age versus information age. You know, so a lot of our parents, I want to believe that they settled in it because they were living in an age where have a car, have a one house, have a car, a good job, and secure your pension. You know, as in there was as a but right now there's no secure pension anywhere. And I remember having a conversation with my dad and one of his friends. I don't advise you to do this. As in, oh sorry, I was having a conversation and they said that they were talking about, oh, get a job and all that. And so I asked them, I said, why should I get a job? Then after 40 years I will retire, and then I would now start enjoying life in that sense. So I said, why don't you flip it the other way? As in, because most of them, when they retire, they now say, oh, what business can I do? And I see them struggling, you know. And like one of my mentors said, Bishop Bishop, we said, there are some things that are age centered. You can't go and start doing boxing at the age of 40. As in, he said they're going to turn you into a spare part. So, as in, so I'm like, okay, why don't we flip it the other way? Why don't we leave from their retired years, and you know, let's start from that. And also because my thinking, as in, I've always been an entrepreneur in that sense, in the sense of like, why work for 40 years, you know, 40 years or 35 years or whatever years, and then when you retire, you get a wristwatch or a pension or something. And yeah, I just think different. Let me give you a good example of what my wife works. And I'm sure you know her, you follow her. So she works in corporate America. And one day I said, okay, let's do some calculations, as in your income. And she was like, okay, let's do it. And she earns, okay, can I say it online? She earns six figures. She's a very good six figures. So for this example, let's just say she earns 200,000 per annum. And I said, okay, most Americans will never get $200,000 per annum. Most will not. So let's just say, okay, you get to 200,000 per year, and you work for 40 years, right? 200,000 times 40. Can you do the calculation? And it's $8 million.
Yeah, 8 million.
So I'm like, you work for 40 years for $8 million.
But just 8 million. Bro.
But she got scared, like, oh my god. I said, yes. I said, so if you start a business or if you do real estate well, in 1 year, literally, you can make that. As in, after being there for some years, don't go out and start and say you make 8 million in 1 year. As in, that's not gonna happen.
Wow, that's a great thought, and I think that even makes you want to. I think for our generation and for just like millennials, Gen Zs, and Gen X, some Gen X, they want to get out of that comfort zone of, okay, where do I? Because I understand what you said, where a lot of our parents are sitting down now that they're old and saying, I'm thinking of what business to do. And in my head, I'm like, that money you are making to sit down in the bank for years, you could actually use to flip 2-3 houses, like, yep. Right? And that time that you've been working, those houses will actually be paying the mortgage of where you are, and be paying mortgage of even where it is that the investment is, and you still make at least, even if it is $500 in profit, right? It doesn't matter.
My loan.
Oh, okay. So even if it's $500 in profit, imagine you making that extra $500 aside your salary. And we're not even talking about your salary right now, because that 200,000, like you said, that's base. Like, okay, you've made your $200,000 for the year, but imagine an investment is not giving you an extra 100,000, meaning that you actually have another base of another 100,000 sitting somewhere. Imagine now taking that base and using it to invest again. So yeah. I think, like you said, most people nowadays don't want to sit down till they're 40, 50. Like I see a lot of YouTube videos, retirement at 35, retirement at 26. Mm-hmm. And why? Because they've sat down and said, you know what, this is the path I want to go, and this is how I'm going to make it. And they've gone out of their comfort zone to make sure that they secure the bag before they get to their 50s. Because in your 50s now, you're literally, the way tech is going, if your job doesn't flip to want to understand what tech is about right now, your business is going to go down the drain. And
Yeah,
and at 50, what do you want to say? A lot of people will struggle with what the
yeah,
future is doing. So I
yeah.
really agree with
You,
you
you,
about
you
that.
mentioned something which I said earlier, but I didn't elaborate. You talked about YouTube and all that. I think this generation, one of the things I feel our parents did not have was access to information like we do right now. As in, this generation will have no excuse, as in literally no excuse. You have your phone is like a mini office. I can literally do every deal, sign contracts on my phone because there are apps now and all that, and also because there are more information. People are beginning to see. I think in the generation of our parents, they were judging wealth by how much you spend, but not knowing that wealth is judged by how much you can keep. And also the culture that we have, especially as Nigerians, we think those that are spending money are the ones that are really wealthy, but which to some level they might be, maybe they're rich, but maybe not wealthy in that sense. And but if you look at Forbes list, if you look at Bloomberg and co, they always look at how much are you keeping, how much are you worth, based on what you keep, not based on what you spend. So that information that we have today can literally go to the university on YouTube. As in, and also we now have access to younger people, successful people that are willing to share informations that they've learned along their journey. We have books whereby you can literally read. You don't. They say experience is the best teacher, but it does not have to be your own experience. You can pick up a book and 50 years experience of a man, you can read it in one book. Thereby making your own journey better.
That's true. Experience doesn't have to be the best teacher, and that's the truth. I believe that we learn from other people's experiences, and it reduces. So it's just like, if I know that if I start investing now, I'll be able to make, let's say, 1 million in the next 1 year. Let's say you learned about that 5 years ago, and I read your book and I see that, oh, okay, if I start doing it now, before that 5 years, I can actually make 5 million. It's easier for me to actually go through your part and not make your mistakes. And I think that that's one thing that I was having this conversation with a brother of mine in church on Sunday, and we're like, the Indian community, the Chinese community, the Filipino community, they are creating multi-generational wealth for their children, so that their children don't have to go into student loans, they don't have to go get mortgages, they don't have to get all these things. They will just start flipping for their children. They start flipping for even their brothers and sisters that are just coming into the country. I said, so why are we as Africans, why don't we have that kind of foresight where as an institution, like I'll use an example for my church. Okay, so I attend a Redeemed church, right? So imagine all the Redeemed churches come together and say, you know what, let's have a real estate firm, let's have an hospital, let's have a school, let's have this. It means that every time we what they call it, we need help, we need to do any of these things, we have that access because it's our people that are there. Imagine if we now have to wait till we have one. Even yesterday, my mom still said that, oh, she watches TV every time, she rarely sees a black person on TV. And I'm like, imagine if we have our own TV station. Like, what is stopping us? Nothing. We just need to get off the me mentality and get out to, how do we make multi-generational wealth for our children? How do we make multi-generational wealth for even those that are not currently in the country, and how can they have access to these things without spending? Oh, when I first came, I worked in McDonald's. Okay, so how do you want to make sure that your brother doesn't work in that same space, or work or struggle in their life, or live somewhere that is not good, right? So I think you really nailed it there, where experience is not necessarily the best teacher, people. Experience isn't necessarily the best teacher. So my next question will be, okay, so give us a brief journey of how it all started. Why did you go into real estate? What made you start Block 22, and much more?
Like I said, I read, if I remember correctly, while I was in university, FUTA precisely, that's Federal University of Technology Akure. I read a lot of books. In fact, my books were in hundreds of thousands of naira. as a student, I was always buying. So I read this book, Cracking the Millionaire Code, and it talks about you have to choose a vehicle of wealth, as in a vehicle, whether it's internet coding, internet, and I'm like, no, internet is not for me. As in starting a business, I'm like, here, but it also talks about real estate. So I said, okay, I'm going to merge business and real estate together. And also because I think my passion for real estate, or I know, came from the fact that I grew up in an estate where 5 children lived in one bedroom. And as you would know, I would always end up sleeping on the floor. As in, so I slept on the floor almost for the good part of my growing up years. So I made up in my mind, like, oh, why don't we have a big house where everybody have their own room and all that? So that's where I'm like, I'm gonna solve this. I'm not gonna sleep on the floor again, and that's where it came from. And interestingly, Block 22, if you ask, is actually I lived in Block 22 flat 3. I'm out of Housing Estate, so that's where Block 22 came from. So it is the name of the block that I grew up in. So in Lagos. So one other thing I remember after I discovered that business is what I want to do. I started a business on campus, and in my final year, I had 4 stars. As in, came out in 2 national super, student millionaire, blah blah blah. So I made up my mind, engineering is not for me. Business is my path. So I went to business school after in the UK. So I came to the US, and I wrote down some things. I said I don't want to rent in the United States because I've been reading a lot of books, as in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Richest Man in Babylon. I've been reading 21 different books. I'm a huge book reader. So I chose real estate as my vehicle. So I said, okay, what should I do? So this is very important because most times we grew up in Nigeria with a culture of debt is not good. So we want to pay cash for everything, which to some extent is good also. But once you come into this system, you need to learn the system and make it work to your advantage. Meaning that a lot of people go into debt with liability, like buy this, buy that on credit card. But there's a way you can use your credit to buy assets. Assets is simply means what puts money in your pocket. Liability takes money out of your pocket monthly. So I said I'm going to do this. So I'm talking both as a real estate agent or a realtor and also as an investor. So I studied the system. So I said, okay, why don't I buy a multiplex instead of a single family home? I ended up buying 2 or 3 units. In Nigeria, we call it 2 flats or 3 flats. And stay in one. This is my thinking. I said I love good things. So I said, okay, stay in one, rent out 2. My tenants will pay for the mortgage, and I'll have extra money. Then I'll go buy a Range Rover Sport. And then, that was that was my thinking. And I got into the United States in 2015, 1st of December 2015. And then I was living with my friends. So I told him, like, oh, you can do this. And he looked at me and I was like, oh, it just came. You don't even know how the system works and everything. And one thing was that I had no debt. Our parents paid for our school fees and all that. So we had no debt. And I discovered that an average American is almost $100,000 worth of debt. So I said, how do I use this for my good? So I built my credit, partnered with my wife now, and we bought a 3 unit. I bought it on the foreclosed bank stuff. So, but one thing I did was to learn about the system, read about loans and all that. So what structured the deal so much that the bank gave us money to buy. We put down 3.5%, which is ridiculous. 3.5%, and also money to fix it, because the ARV, this is after rehab value, it's more than, or I think it equals to the amount of the loan and the amount to fix it. So it was a good deal. So we fixed it and then started living there. So we're living in one. The mortgage was $2,000 every month, and the tenants were paying $2,650 every month. So we're basically living in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Chicago for free. Tenant was paying the mortgage, and after being there for like 2 months or 3 months, bought a Range Rover Sport. As in, so I've like goal oriented. Use this. Why I'm saying this is that a lot of times you're like, oh, starve yourself, and you can use this to achieve whatever it is that you're trying to do. And stay there for 1 year, 10 months, and sold the place, and made gross $100,000 after tenant paying for the mortgage basically. So that is how I started, and real estate because I love helping people, and also my ultimate goal is to be a developer, but I don't have the money to be a developer as of then. So I broke down my goals literally to where I was, and I saw that okay, I can be a real estate agent. I'm learning real estate, making money by selling and having commission, And so after that, I'm like, oh, okay, I can start a brokerage. After being a real estate broker for 3 years, and then I started, and hence Block 22. And I actually started Block 22 last year, in the middle of pandemic, but that was a great time to start. It's always in farming or in this sphere. That's always a good time to start because your cost of entry is lower. And I could start and just work from home. So I was not thinking of office space and all that. So it was cheap to start. So that is basically how I started. That's how I started real estate. And it's been doing good. I would say. You follow me, so you know what I mean.
I believe one thing I would take from what you just said is never allow the circumstance of other people or what people view of you dictate what God has planned for you. Because imagine if you actually just went with your friend saying, I just got here, don't worry, you see how the system is. But apart from like you doing the work, the power of life and death is in the tongue. And I believe that one of the things that I got from what you said is you knew what you saw and you kept saying it, and it's important. I know that people feel like, oh, because I don't know where I'm going to, this is how I am. No, whatever you want God to do for you, start speaking into existence. And I think that's one very key thing that I'm going to hold on to from what you just shared now.
And just to add, and also look for people. The Bible says that there's nothing new under the sun. Sometimes you might need to change your company, because if you're around those that are, as in, we basically see from our own conceptual lens. So if you say, oh, this country is hard, somehow everybody that you will have around you are those that are having it hard. So I consciously started looking at this that work. You know how many people even describe real estate, you look at them. I just wanted to start looking for those that are doing things. And when I was starting, I actually did an apprentice. I was an apprentice for 1 year with with someone that I was very close to, that was already a real estate investor. So I was just following him free. People thought I was mad. After you come to America and be following somebody up and down. But I knew exactly what I wanted. So I wanted to gain first-hand experience. And interestingly, all those years of experience, when I was started fixing, and it was all the contractors that he was working with, I developed a good relationship with them. And then so I kind of like stood on the shoulder, as in to work faster.
And one thing you just said is relationships. Like, to be very sincere, I think a lot of people are shot themselves in the leg based on how they viewed other people. Oh, it's just the cleaner, or it's just the this, or it's just that. You never know who is at the other side of that part. And just like you said, if the scripture says that the counsel, being around wise people, you will become wise. There is no how, unless you just want to block your head from being wise. Right? So it is important. If you see something, when I think of, okay, I wanted to do media, I sit down and I'm like, okay, you know what, who are the people that I've seen that their life has become a success? How do I start reaching out to them? How do I start having conversations with them? Okay. Even when I started my show, I remember that I told myself one thing: the worst a guest will say is no. it doesn't invalidate who I am and what I do, and the amount of content I put out, and the amount of life that their words are impacting.
Yeah.
And I see that a lot of people cut themselves short because they feel like, oh, they tell you, it's very hard though, don't do this, don't do that, when you come, just hide your head though, don't tell anybody what you are doing. No, that is what's working for that person. If you know where you are going to, make sure that you start speaking to existence and start networking yourself with those people that will help you advance. And and like you said, whatever limit you put on yourself is what's gonna happen. If you believe that the business will not work, forget it. No matter how people are trying to share the ideas on how the business will work, you won't see far, right? Because you've already blocked yourself that, this business doesn't work, it cannot work, right? Why is it important? I always hear this term, first time home buyer, and I know that the government here in Canada gives incentive to people that buy their house for the first time. So my question is, as a first time home buyer, either as an investor or where I want to live, what are the things I have to look out for when going into it as either an investor or an homeowner?
Okay. So the most one thing about real estate is it can be summed up in 3 words: location. As an investor, you're looking at, okay, what location, and also as a first time home buyer, you're also looking at location, like how accessible is it going to be to either like to the highway, train station. Then also for people that are looking at schools, like what's the school district like? And then also you're looking at what's the safety, or how safe is this place? So those are some of the things you're looking at. Then number 2 that I would say is that for an investor and even a first-time home buyer, is that it's your first home, it's your first house, as in, so you don't exactly know what you want, even though you think you do. So I always tell people, just get in the game, as in buy it. Use the incentives, because they are like you said, a whole lot of incentive for first-time home buyers, and use that to start. I see a lot of people running commentary like, oh, the real estate market is going to fall, it's going to this, it's going to, and the next question I ask them, are you in the game? Do you have a house? Say no. Do you have investment? No. So all this, how do you benefit from what we are even saying? It's if you are not in the game, then it's as good as you're just running commentary. So, but once you're in the game, you can, for an investor, you can get the first one, maybe not so right, but it's a learning curve. It's not a failure. And then and also for first time home buyers, especially your house, it's what I would say is that don't literally go out there and buy multi-million-dollar house yet. I know we grew up in a culture where most of us lived in one location all throughout our life. But when it comes to where we are now, we call ourselves upwardly mobile youth or young guys, right? It's literally means upwardly mobile. You're going to be mobile. As in, you're going to be moving around, you're going to be fluid and everything. So today you might be working here, next tomorrow you might be working somewhere, and also I literally like Nigerians being investors, as like being investors, because like you said, building generational wealth. Bible says that a good man will leave an inheritance for his children. No matter, if you look at the world, no matter where you make your money from, no matter whether it be media, whether it be sports, and all, where most of them park their money is always in real estate. As in, why? Because it's solid, it's tangible, you can see it. Stock, you can't see it, it can disappear. As in when I mean literally can just disappear, but real estate is tangible, you can see it, you can work it. And when you're working it, you can say, "Oh, I'm the lord of this land." That's where the word landlord comes from. I was talking to one of my clients. I said, "Work the land," and he was working the land to the boundary. Like, well, how do you feel? I said, "Good." I said, "You're the lord of the land." So And also, if you want to have economic power in any location or anything, it's usually through real estate. Mostly through real estate. And one other reason why I said buy real estate is that when you consider cash flow, it's one of the that gives you cash flow. Even if it's your first house and you stay there, by the time you buy something else, somewhere else, another building, you can usually put a rent out there that is paying for the mortgage while you're building equity. So equity is the difference between how much you owe and how much the value of the house is. And the more you pay down your mortgage, the higher the equity you have. So if you have a tenant that is paying the monthly mortgage and putting some money into your pocket, then the equity is literally increasing as the debt is coming down. So that is also something that you can leverage on. You can borrow money from to even buy something else. But it's a whole lot of class on that. Well, yeah.
So I know that here in Canada there are advantages or there are incentives the government gives for first time home buyer. Is it the same in the US?
Yes.
And I think I'll just add the second question is, what will investing in real estate in the US be like for someone that lives in Canada? Because I know that there will be is there the land transfer tax and all those other things that people will want to watch out for. So or have you had clients that are from, let's say not necessarily Canada, but another part of the world, right, that want to invest in the US? How do they go about that if they want to start?
Okay. So yeah, I do have. I remember when there was one time there was no dollars in Nigeria. There's this client of mine that has a house here. So he said, "Oh, Femi, don't send my money. Just be sending it to my daughter in Canada for her school fees," because he owns a property right here where he is. So one of the major challenge, I've not had anybody come from Canada to say, "Hey, I want to buy," but I've had a lot of people come from Nigeria, and to the best of my knowledge, most of them usually come with their cash, like Femi, or like, I want to buy this. This is what I have. What can I do and all that? But I believe that for someone coming from Canada, there's going to be some sort of you should be able to get a loan. Because I was trying to get someone from Nigeria a loan. What I know is that you'll probably pay a larger down payment, and then you need to show proof of income. So there are different types of loan. For someone from Canada, probably do something called no document loan. But it means you're probably going to put down between 30 to 50% down. Yeah, as in that is how far I've done my research. I'm talking to loan officers and all that. So, but maybe for somebody from Canada, it might be a bit different because there's systems of checks. But when it comes to Nigeria, where do you want to check? As in, like, no credit score, no, so that sort of a thing. So now that you've said it, probably going to be something I'll be exploring, getting more information, and even probably send them to you later if I get them so that you can share with your audience.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm also going to have a couple of realtors that are also like based here in Canada, and I know one that she has some portfolio with some people in the US. So I think I'll also answer that question so that's to see what works perfectly for someone that's just coming in. So like you said, someone that's coming from Nigeria, because we don't have some sort of like credit record or financial record when it comes to like loan and how financially stable our economy is. A lot of times, like you said, they have to put down almost half of the money because of that kind of risk that the government is kind of taking on them. So the question now is it really worth living for someone in Nigeria that has a business and it's like, I have so much money sitting down in Nigeria, I have blocks of real estate in Nigeria, but I need something that will still like diversification of assets, right? would you advise the person to channel their investment to the US, or would you advise that the person just continue what they're doing in Nigeria? That's one part of the question. The second part of the question would be, how would the person go about managing their investment? Because a lot of people have been, should we say, hurt from certain investors. Okay, oh, I went to do this investment with this person that's a Nigerian, and the person did not do me well. So people, because of their hurts, don't come back after like one blow or one one bad experience. So how do we regain that trust when we've been burnt like that?
Okay. The first part, my answer will be yes. You can just invest alone in Nigeria. When you especially consider exchange rates and the power of the naira versus the power of the dollar, and if you're into you want to store, sometimes you want to store the value of your money, like inflation against inflation and all that, and also because I mentioned cash flow. Where will you put the same amount of money in Nigeria and get the same cash flow? As for instance, some of us we pay what we pay every month for rent is what some people pay in Nigeria for one year. I'm talking of 1 month versus 1 year. So the rates of the return on investment is huge and everything. And when you look at in Nigeria, if you say you're a millionaire, I'm not moved, because I'm like, can you change your money in the currency of the world and you still say you're a millionaire? So it literally, you probably need 500,000 naira and above to say I'm a millionaire. 500,000 naira. No, sorry, 500 million. Come on. 500 million. As of this morning, I did a transaction this morning, so they told me it's 560. So probably going to need 560 million naira to say I am a millionaire in dollars. So that is it's not happening. Then also, when you look at what's the rate of appreciation of the properties, historically, when you look at properties in Nigeria, and I'm sure in United States, and I'm sure also in Canada, you see that historically they always appreciate. That's why most people always invest in property, because it appreciates. It provides cash flow and it appreciates. And because the system works here, there's a system of check and balances. If someone wants to rent a house, you can check their credit score, you can look at their history and all that. A lot of times in Nigeria, it's just like, oh, a guarantor, as in I'm standing. And when most of the time, it does not really work. If the person does not pay, you can't even hold the guarantor, you can't even hold that. And like, so, but here there are systems where you can take the person to court, you can put something on their credit score and all that. And going to the second one of the things I discovered is that Nigerians love cheap, and we don't want to pay for services. We're so used to not paying for services. You're like, she needs to just manage the house. Why will you be collecting 6% or 7%? And then what I've discovered is that they do it, and then the property is not managed well, and they get of course, if you don't pay well, you don't get your property managed well, and then you conclude that it's a bad business. But there are a lot of millionaires and billionaires investing heavily in real estate. So I think we need to learn out, as in the culture of paying for things. For example, when I go to the UK, this is very funny. For the first time, I was in the bus, so I paid the driver, and then I was going. So my friend was like, "You didn't say thank you." I'm like, "Thank you for what?" Didn't I pay? I was like, I paid
on top of my own money. It's a cultural thing. We feel like when we are giving someone money, we're doing them a favor. But here, it's more or less like they're doing you a service, and you should thank them.
Service, as in, I said thank you, was like, oh, it drove you to the place. I'm like, what did I pay for?
Oh, I still struggle with that even sometimes till now. I remember going for dinner one day with my husband, and when we finished, he's like, you didn't say thank you. I'm like, I gave the person a tip now.
Yeah,
And it's like
exactly.
still you still say thank you for the service. So
Yeah.
I think it's a cultural thing where we are so used to, like, this is how we
Mhm.
used to do things back home.
Yeah, so those are some of the cultural shock where we want to incorporate into the system, and we're not as in. But there's going to be a problem because it's different culture. So if you learn the right way, there are property managers that will manage the property as in professionally, and they will get paid and they get paid, and you to get paid. So most times when I'm doing investment for people, I'm like, factor it in as a cost of doing business for the peace, for peace of mind, and also assurance, because these people have been doing it for years. As in, that's what they do professionally.
And
Even
that's
even
that's
I, as a
our
broker,
own that's
yeah,
our own whatever of caretaker when we are back home.
exactly. You can say, oh, where's the that kind of thing? Just give him 1,000 or something. But it does not work like that. Especially if you want to value, if you put the value of the property in it's like, no, you pay the right people, they manage it professionally, and then there's peace of mind. You have an account, they give you these are the figures, this is what we had to fix and all that, so I believe in doing that. It's reduced. A lot of people that say, no, this is what I want to do. They say, oh, you are saving on the front end, but they lose big time at the back end. And then it leaves a bad taste in their mouth. And they're like, oh, this thing does not work. It works. You just need to learn how it works. So there are property managers that can do that. I do manage for some people, selected, because property management is not my best suit. But I have property managers around me that I can always say, hey, this person is managing a property and everything. And one other thing that kept coming to me, when we're talking about Nigerians and all, as in Jews and all that, is that we need to stop competing and start
Collaborating.
complementing
Yes.
and complementing each other, complementing and because at the end of the day, for instance, now I'm bringing some young guys in Nigeria doing well. Trying to bring them together, pulling the fund. Like I said, I'm now stepping into development. So pulling the funds together, 100,000. Like, if I have 100,000, I have this one. And because they can't buy what they want, I say, okay, you know what? Why don't you guys buy a 4 flat or a 4 multi-unit, 4 units? And I keep saying 4 flat because I know that in Nigeria, that's what we understand. But or a duplex, triplex, means 3 or 2, where instead of owning everything, we all come together and own this. And the way it can be done is that we can even register an LLC, which is what's in Nigeria is called limited company. So you can register an LLC, and you guys own the property. The property is bought as a company, and then you guys are the managers. So, and we have lawyers. Everything is documented. You can go online, you can see all the managers and what have you. You can go online, you can see your property tax, so you know exactly how much your property tax is. So you know that, and then you know how much you're allocating every month. So it can be done the right way. If it's done the right way, I believe it's very, very profitable.
Okay. Sorry, my camera times out sometimes, so I wanted to make sure that it doesn't time out before we finish. Okay, so thank you for that. And like you said, I think that when we start complementing and collaborating, we would actually imagine if, let's say, on a street we buy out the entire block, and for every first time home person or first time immigrant that's coming to the country and is a Nigerian, all of us are on the same block all through. That would mean that if any Nigerian goes for a political office in that area, we have more strength.
Yes.
And we have more people. Let's say out of 8 homes, we have, let's say, 8 families, 4 children each. Just an example. That's 32 votes coming in the future when those children either stay in the house or leave the house or whatnot. And that's also still wealth for the community. So, like you said, I think it's high time that we start looking at the bigger picture and how to create that what they call it, that backbone for people that even when they're coming in, they're coming into a stable and a good space where they don't have to like think twice before they invest or before they work with another Nigerian or whatnot, because they know that these people that are here, they actually have my best interest at heart, and they're not trying to like make me live lower than how I'm supposed to live. Um, so
Can I quickly say something very good?
yeah,
And one major thing that I would like to say, especially to a lot of Nigerians that are in Canada, Nigeria, US, or that we're out of Nigeria, is that a lot of us think we're out of Nigeria, but we're still in Nigeria, even where we are. What I mean by that, even though you're here in Canada or you're here in the United States, you still think, do, and act like you are in Nigeria. We need to integrate ourselves into the society. One of the ways how slavery worked was because they integrated themselves into the society. If a white man comes to Nigeria, he kind of like integrates himself, start talking to people as an another. But we come, we form our community, but we integrate ourselves. We do that by learning how does the system work. What can we do? What is power? How can we take power? For ourselves. And that's one of the reasons, one of the ways you said we can do a community. You see the Jewish community, you see the Indian community, and they are very powerful. In fact, I remember when I was in the UK, if a new Indian person comes or Arab, they not only do have a system of integrating the person, they also have people that literally give the person loan. Because most of them, they do, they don't want to work. So I've come to either drive a cab or I've come to start a business and all that. So there's a soft loan that is, given to the person. They intrigate the person, or this person, you stay here, and it kind of like a good landing. And they give the people, the person, the right information. I don't know why we like ordering information. I don't know. As in, I used to say this, there's Mark Zuckerberg, there's Bill Gates, there's Jeff Bezos, they're all billionaires. They're not competing. In fact, they're all friends. But why is it that we hide information, even to tell someone to open an account? Like, oh no, you can't open an account. And I'm like, why do we? It does not affect you. Let's make it better for the next person. That you went through this does not mean other person ought to go through that same storm. It's an abnormality that you went through it. So don't continue it. Make it better for the next person that comes, so that they can, become better. And so that's one thing that I see that pains my heart. As in, literally, I've hosted a lot of people coming in to the country, and when I give them information, they're like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, go and do this." Go and do it. I met this lady. She has been in the country for like 6 months. And we're like, "Oh, uncle said I'm opening a bank account." And I'm like, "What?" Even people that visit, I take them to open bank account. As in visit, they're living in Nigeria. They have bank accounts here. And I'm like, why are we doing this to ourselves? So I think we should work on that.
yeah, and yes, I've heard about that thing that you said in the UK, and by the time, instead of them getting loans that are like outrageous percent for interest, they get it from their brothers, from their sisters, right? And they're able to invest and double whatever it is, and there's no stress of, okay, I have to work 7 jobs to get things going. Okay, I have this firm, I need someone that will help me, that'll be the reception, I will need this, I will need that, and those things. And the thing is, even as us, as Africans, I believe that we should also still do the level of excellence you would do whether you're working with a Caucasian company, because that's where the problem is. People feel like when they hire a lot of Africans, the level of excellence they will give isn't always as much as if they were in a different firm. So you see a lot of people that are Africans, I see a lot of people that are Africans only hire Caucasians, because even though the Caucasian might not even give that level of excellence, but they'll prefer than to have a fight with you as an African. So I feel like it's important that everywhere you are, whether you are in with your friend or not with your friend, make sure that you give the same level of excellence and competence that you give another man, and even to your own business. just because we are running out of time, I will ask these final two questions
Okay.
before I have you say your final words.
Okay.
And the first part of the question is there private financing for real estate in the US or in Chicago? And the second part is, which would you rather tell someone to do, to lease, to rent, or to buy outrightly as an investor or as a home buyer?
Okay. Yeah, they are private investors. They call them hard money lenders, and don't be scared of that word. Like, sometimes when we hard money, like, yeah, I will not go and collect hard money in Jesus' name. I'm like, it's not. It's just a terminology. The reason why they call it hard money lenders is because it's shorter term, and also because they charge higher interest rates, and that's why it's called hard money. Simple. So in a lot of times, most people that are going to flip, banks are not in the business of real estate. Banks are in the business of banking and money. So no matter how fantastic something look, even if you think, if you don't have that clout, you've not done it. They actually have you done it 5 times in the last 5 years or something. Their conditions are very stringent. But hard money lenders, their conditions are easier because they understand the game. They have the money for you to flip, as in I think most of them are like 12 months, some at 6 months, 12 months range, and you can use it. Yes, they are private money lenders. My only thing is that just know what you're getting into, learn it, and make sure your numbers make sense, and also know when, because there's a time frame that I have to turn around. So make sure you get everything well. Then the other question, if I remember correctly, we were talking about what's the second part?
So I said the final question is the topic is before you invest in real estate.
Okay, yeah.
But a lot of people feel like, I'd rather rent and invest, or I'd rather lease or than invest. Like, people have different mindsets when it comes to, and some people will just come in and say, you know what, I have to buy my house first. So which would you say, as a first time person in the US or wherever they want to settle, would you say they rent, lease, or buy when it comes to?
I would say lease. Because you're new, except you probably stayed with somebody for that time frame, because you're just coming in. You don't know where you want to stay. You don't know the system. You don't know where to get food. As in, you're literally going to be learning a lot of things. So I would always say lease first. Then also, you don't have credit score. As in, when to buy a house, except you have the cash. If you have $1 million or whatever, just buy. But if you are going to get a loan, there are criteria that you need to meet. For example, in the US, you need 2 years of W-2 or tax return. You need like 2 years of tax. You should have filed 2 years of tax return, and that is, they want to establish your income, your yearly income. They want to establish that. You need your check stubs. You need 3 months of bank statements, and a whole lot of time. I'm sure it should be similar or to what Canada too should be asking. So you need the time to do that, and also because when you rent, at least you start learning. Okay, there's water bill to be paid. There's this to be paid.
I have always turn off your light.
That's it. Exactly. Like, there's no, please, can you come and cut it? They don't even show up. They just remotely, your light is off. As in, like, so you need to rent and get used to these monthly expenses, as in, so that you can know what can I afford comfortably, when it comes to monthly rent and whatever, so that by the time you know, okay, I can afford this comfortably, all my expenses are taken care of, then okay, what can I get in this range, or just a little above that, because I know that I've been able to know what my monthly expenses are, and interestingly, I don't think it comes down as it usually goes up, because you will have this, you will have that, and recently, so I used to just buy already existing houses. So but the last two houses we built from ground up. And then when we finished building, they're like, okay, you need to buy mailbox. You need to put in the grass, sprinklers. As in, the city sent a message, oh, you need to do this test. I'm like,
bro.
As in, so, like, so it's a whole new level. So like, what I'm saying is that there's some expenses. Like now I know if someone wants to build, I'm like I was something I say, your mailbox, you will do it. This one, you need to ask them what's the route of the mailman, because if you put it at this side, especially if you live in a subdivision, the HOA will tell you can't even do it. Like, so I live in a gated community right now. Even though we built our own house, but my mailbox is at the other side of the road. So I'm like, because the mailman, that's his route. If you put it at this side, they're not going to do anything. As in, your mails will just not be dropped. So these are some of the things, but you learn all these things when you lease. So I will always advise lease, but for a short period of time. Then because you don't know exactly what you need, you don't exactly know where you want. You might be living at the south side of the city, but you're like, oh, it's the north side I want. Because this is there. Maybe you want to live closer to your church, maybe live closer to where you work, or closer to where there's an African store, especially for people that love African food. So there's just so many criteria that we have. You don't know the school district of where you are, because maybe when you came, you're single, but you are getting married, you're thinking of school, so many things. So when you lease, there's no responsibility. When your toilet is faulty, you call somebody, hey, come on, fix your toilet. But when you buy, you're the one that will fix the toilet. So those are some of the things. So I see lease period as a period for you to learn, and then before you now get into your own.
Well, thank you very much. So your final words, and what I will ask for your final words will be, before I invest in real estate, what are the things I need to watch out for? And for me, that I've already invested in real estate, what are the things that I have to hold on to multiply my investment?
Oh, okay. Before you invest, I said location. Don't just buy the cheapest. Don't just buy the cheapest. And also for investors, don't buy the most expensive house on the block. As simple as that is, it's so powerful, because if you buy the most expensive house on the block, it's going to take time for your investment to appreciate. So, but if you buy maybe not probably the least, but at least somewhere in the middle. As in so the way real estate works is that there are appraised houses on a block or in the area based on what are sold the highest. So if you buy the highest, then you know that you just need to fast and pray for something to happen, so that it's gonna go up. But if you buy something that, as in somewhere in the middle, you know that it's gonna go up. Then also you look at do your due diligence. And I believe that always use your attorney. Always, don't skip it. A lot of people have lost their shirts by not using their attorneys. Like, what's your business to sign? No, it's not just to sign. as in, trust me, they can see things that you cannot see. They know what to look for, especially real estate attorneys. They know you hire them to protect you. So it's literally a system of protection. If there's one thing you should have learned by being in developed countries, that people sue each other for like pancake, as in I'm gonna sue the landlord, so. That's not to scare. I'm just saying that always have somebody by your side.
Yeah, to do your due diligence.
Yeah.
For the person that's already invested, what are the
things? I believe maintain your property. Nigerians, we don't have the culture of maintenance. It's so bad. We don't have. Maintain your property. It's yours. So if it's going to be giving you money, then you need to. for instance, if you're using your car for investment, you need to, as in like it's your vehicle of wealth. So if you don't protect it, what happens is that you spend more money. Like if your cash flow is supposed to be $1,000 every month, and you don't think of it, this breaks down, that breaks down, you may end up going on with 150. And as in, so. But if you maintain the property at every point in time, then you know that it will appreciate. Even when you decide to sell it, you don't have to fix too many things, And also, if you've made a mistake, it's not the end. It's a game of numbers. Look at it as a business. Most people don't operate as a business. It's a business. Operate it like a business, and don't think of just one. Think of it in numbers. Have a portfolio. Sometimes you may have a property that's not making too much money, but if you buy another one and operate it as a business, you know that this is our expenses. Like right now, some people are saying, "Oh, what mortgage? How much do you pay every month?" And I just tell them, they just shout. I'm like, "Why are you shouting?" It's like, it's too much, because I'm thinking as a portfolio. I'm not thinking this house is this house is this. No, I'm thinking this is how much I pay, and this is how much that comes in, because I'm seeing it as a portfolio. Sometimes there might be a loss here, but this might make much more money. So buying one and saying that it does not work does not solve the problem. Go ahead and buy the second one. Go ahead and buy the third one, and buy the fourth one. Thereby, you have a portfolio. I have more to say, but I know time constraint.
Oh wow. I would say that for those that want to like have a consult or one-on-one, please make sure that you follow him on his social media platforms. You can see it displayed on the screen. And also I'm gonna have his Instagram handle both for his business and his personal, so you can book a consult and have a chat with him if you want to increase your portfolio, if you want to invest in real estate, if you want to invest in business, and you want someone that will mentor you or help you. I believe that is something that he will help with. But I want to say a big thank you to you. I know you have much more to say, and I wish that we had a lot more time to actually explore.
I feel like I've never said anything.
I know, right? So guys, if you want us to bring Mr. Femi Aguda again, please let us know in the comment section, so that we can find another time, probably before the end of the month. Have you, maybe you'll be our last guest for the month, and we'll be able to have this conversation. And please make sure you send in your questions if you want him to come back again to have this chat with us. So till we see you next time on another episode. Next week we'll be having a realtor based here in Alberta, and if you are planning to move to Alberta, this is the time to send in your questions. Make sure you send in your questions. Make sure you send in your concerns or whatever it is that you want help with. But like I said, check in the description and you will see Mr. Femi's links. And make sure that you also check out his business, Block 22 Realty. You will be there are some innovative things that they're doing now in real estate, where it's not the same thing as you've known before. Now you can be in the comfort of your house, and they will digitally show you your space, so you don't have to even be in the space physically. I learned that through his page. I didn't know that before. So guys, real estate has moved from, oh, go and get the surveyor, we have to go to the land. No. You can be in England and he'll be taking care of everything for you in the US. And like he said, he also manages some business and he works with property managers. So if you're afraid that, I don't want to overwhelm you, Mr. Femi, don't worry, he has your back. He has people, he has a team that can help you with that. So make sure that you reach out to him and you speak to him about this thing. So till we see you, like you said, if you want part 2, make sure that you put in the comment section so that we can bring back Mr. Femi again.
Interestingly, I'll be in Calgary next month.
Yay! So you can see Mr. Femi is coming to Canada. So y'all should watch out for that. But till we see you next time, have a blessed day. Bye.
Thank you.